You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and, of course, the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to check out the Glebe Central Pub at 779 Bank Street and get your tickets for the Senator Shuttle for their next game on January 16th against the Washington Capitals. You can also get your tickets for all the games the rest of the month, including the Leafs and more. $17 round trip to and from the CTC. It leaves an hour and 15 minutes before and brings you right back afterwards. Head to where the vibes are free. That's the GCP. And oh, what a vibe cast we have here. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller. The Sens hang on to beat the Dallas Stars 3-2. It got a little hairy late, but overall, Pillsy, a perfect performance on the second half of a back-to-back.
Yeah, oh man, what a weekend it's been, Ross. A 5-0 win over the Penguins, and then the big bad Dallas Stars come to the CTC. The Sens wear their black uniforms, and what do you know? They look good and play good. Levi Marilainen with back-to-back wins. The Finnish firewall is looking amazing. He was great again tonight, and overall a good team effort. Like, it did get a little close there at the end, but the Senators are able to get the win in regulation and get 4 points on the weekend. Oh, feels good.
We would have been going nuts at Artem Zub if they had tied that up 2 goals with a minute and a half left, and Artem Zub takes a delay of game puck over the glass penalty. But look, no harm, no foul. Senators still get the regulation win and come out of the weekend absolutely perfect. And not only perfect, Pillsy, but winning in 2 completely different ways. High skill, opening it up, also physical and chippy in against Pittsburgh. This was a gritty win, and of all the great reasons you said, but also the title of the show, the Dallas Stars were the NHL's hottest team. 7 straight wins coming into tonight, and Ottawa puts them back in their place. What was the biggest difference maker for you in this game?
I'll go with the depth, Ross. Like, I really thought, and look, you and I owe Matthew Highmore an apology here. We said we don't know why they're bringing up Highmore. This bottom 6 needs goal scoring. Bring up Crooker. And I still would love to see Crooker up. That point remains. But Matthew Highmore had a great game, in my opinion, and he scores a goal for your Ottawa Senators. And not just any goal, Ross. He gets the game winner. So it's a good thing Matthew Highmore was here, because in a 3-2 game, he gets that 3rd goal. And he did a really good job, I thought, of creating speed off the rush. He had a couple really nice zone entries. And then on that goal, he does a good job of finding open space. When everyone's banging away at it in front, he circles around behind the net and says, well, I'm not just going to be the 5th person banging away at the puck on the right side. I'm going to find some open ice and be ready if the puck trickles to me. And it does, and he buries it. So a nice game by the bottom 6, I thought, as a whole, were good. At last night's game, Ross, or last evening's game, we had Tyler Clevin chip in offensively. Like, it's these guys that aren't always expected and aren't the guys that usually bring the offense. When they can click and join, it really gives a boost to this team.
And how about the coaching to throw out Matthew Highmore on that line with Nick Cousins and Shane Pinto to start the 3rd period? That was a line that hadn't seen any ice together throughout the game. Ridley Gregg had been in that spot, but the coaching decision, and also it was a batted puck out of the air after it hit the post. So 2 of Ottawa's 3 goals were out of midair in tonight's game, because Josh Norris is as well.
Yeah, and that was a great play by Drake Batherson to see Norris going towards the net. And you know, I think instinctively, Ross, you want to slide it along the ice so he can get a tap in there. But if he does that, I think the defenseman that was on Norris breaks it up easily. Josh Norris is put on this earth to score goals. He's going to find a way to do that if you give him the opportunity, and he bats it about knee height there. So great job by Norris.
Elite job by Norris. We'll get to the game summary, our Sen Central standouts, but we love our boots on the ground report, and none other than the Martian. What's up, buddy?
What's up, buddy? Hey, boys. Thanks for having me on here. I'm excited. That was a fun little game there. The boys looked great, and I'm just getting ready to play myself here. So,
what a night.
That was good times, yeah.
The guy loves hockey.
No doubt. Well,
I live and breathe it, boys. I live and breathe it.
Well, you're wearing black just like the Sens were tonight, but let's go to your feelings in the rink. How was the atmosphere, and how did you see this game develop?
Honestly, it was way better than I thought it was going to be in there. I on the way in, I was talking to my buddy Brad, and I was saying, I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at a little bit of a weaker crowd here tonight. And when we get there, and right away during warmups, you could see that the place was filling up pretty quick, and the fans, especially in the second period, there came alive, and I think they carried the boys to the victory on this one.
Martian, we all know that this team doesn't necessarily have the best results when they're scored on first. The Dallas Stars score the first goal in this one, but then the Sens are like shot out of a cannon for the second period. They held the Stars without a shot for 14 straight minutes. Just how different was the speed of the game, boots on the ground report of that second period compared to the first?
Yeah, right away they came out in that second period absolutely flying. They get that quick goal, and then I think they had like 5 unanswered shots right to start that second period. And you could just tell, they were on a different gear. I don't know what was said in the dressing room there between periods, fellas, but whatever it was, it worked because the Sens looked like a different team. And Dallas, too, started to get a little bit tired, I felt like, about halfway through the game. You could see that they were probably feeling that little bit of travel coming out of from Montreal, and yeah, the Sens had that little extra pep in their step, maybe bringing in a couple of those fresh bodies like Highmore. I think he brought a lot of good things tonight, and same with Zach McEwen. So I thought the boys, they just looked great. It was good times in the CTC tonight. I was happy I made it.
Love that. Give me a Sen Central standout, Martian. Who stood out tonight for you?
Oh, give me the German, fellas. I just thought he was flying
out.
I thought he was flying out there again tonight. He obviously he was going through a little bit of something there early in the season or early in the new year there with the flu or whatever the report was with him. And I think he's obviously over that now. His feet were moving and he looked incredible. So I'm gonna go with Tim Stützle tonight for my standout. He was awesome tonight, fellas.
And we're pulling up your tweet at Laleem's Martian on Twitter. Just a lovely game. You're having fun there, and the boys came to play. You could tell they didn't want another stinker like they had after the long road trip against Buffalo, and they've certainly put the pedal down. Couple early period goals and 2 goals in 39 seconds as well in the second period to go from down 1-0 to up 2-1. Martian, we appreciate the hell out of you, man. Boots on the ground report. Enjoy the ice tonight at the Sensplex. Try to do your best Stützle impression. Get moving out there, kid. Get the sickness out of your system. We need you here.
I'm on the big ice tonight too, here, boys. So wish me luck. Coming off a little bit of a flu myself, so I'm gonna need to bring up my inner German here and see what I can do.
All right, there he is, Laleem's Martian. You're already following him on Twitter at Laleem's Martian. There he goes, and now we've got more to get to from this game. Feller Pine, we see in the chat. Remember his hot take this summer, Pilsy? Said Levi Marilainen was going to steal the backup job. That was spicy.
Yeah, true. Good call by the buy out on the rock there, Feller Pine. And it's looking pretty good for him right now because Levi Marilainen starting both of these games. We talked about it in last Postcast, Ross. It's what everybody in the chat wanted. And Travis Green confirmed, LOSP listener.
Well, we've always said on the show that the team should just take all their roster movements, their goaltending decisions from the pod. Like, just head over, put out a poll, and let the people decide.
Yeah, I mean, we're the people's pod. And we just want what's best for the Sens here. So I love it.
I loved the play, and Martian nailed it. Like, Tim Stützle was at his super self tonight. Unbelievable jump in his step, even before he ends up getting the second goal of this game. Ottawa outshoots Dallas 28-26. Dallas goes 1 for 4 on the power play. Hashtag sends abroad. Evgeny Dadonov at the end there, making it a 3-2 game. Ottawa goes 0 for 3. Sens snap back 58% of the draws, and that's against a really good faceoff team in Dallas. Dallas has 13 blocks to Ottawa's 10. Sens ran the Stars out of the building and hits 24-9, and Ottawa also got 62% of the expected goals. And Pilsy, I want to key in on those hits because it started on the first shift. Zach McEwen playing his first game in a long time in the NHL. Yep. He did the old Chris Neil. I'm not coming off the ice on my first shift before I run a couple people through the board. So I thought that set the tone for the game really nicely from Ottawa's side.
Yeah, and Ross, that's the key. If you're going to go up against a big team like the Dallas Stars and a team that is coming off a second half of a back-to-back where they went to the shootout and were on the road up against a team, make it tough on these guys. Hit them every time you have the opportunity. Finish your checks, play hard against the boards. And I thought the Ottawa Senators did a really good job of that. And sure, Dallas, they got their 2 goals from the tic-tac-toe classic play that seems to work very effectively against the Senators. But other than that, they weren't really able to generate a lot of grade A chances, in my opinion. And the Ottawa Senators, as you can see from the bottom of the page here, dominated on 5-on-5 expected goals percentage. So that's the type of game you want to grind down a team like this. And you mentioned it, Ross. This is a hot Dallas Stars team that came into the building.
And even though Dallas had the edge in shots in the first period, Ottawa missed a lot of opportunities, whether it was deflections in the high slot, Brady almost got one there, or other chances. The shot attempts were actually 20-13 for Ottawa in the first period. They only had 5 shots on 20 attempts, Pilsy.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. But then they came out, and that's where you look at the analytics and say, if they keep this up, the tide will turn. And sure enough, 3 minutes into the second period, it was Josh Norris's 15th of the year from Drake Batherson and Nick Jensen. And then 39 seconds later, what a feed from the birthday boy, Claude Giroux, giving it to Jake Sanderson. He actually tried to put it over there, and the stick blocked the pass. So he was able to pick the puck up, go around the net, and find Tim Stützle in the slot, way more wide open than he should ever be in the slot. And Stützle made no mistake. 14th goal of the year for Stützle, 22nd assist for Jake Sanderson, 19th for Claude Giroux. And we've already talked about what ends up being the game-winning goal. Matthew Highmore's first of the season, first since 2022, 21 seconds into the period, making it 3-1, and they held on from there. Just a perfect performance. Like, I have no qualms with the way the Sens played. Maybe that penalty at the end of the third, you want to be able to avoid that. But It's the old, when you're up 2 goals, and I know it backfired because they did score, and Noodles always makes this point, and it's a fair one, where, it sucks you're shorthanded, but Ottawa had a couple chances at the empty net, and you can rip it from your own end and not ice the puck.
Yeah, I think if it's a 1-goal game, Ross, you don't really look at that as much of an advantage. But with the 2-goal cushion, it is nice to have. And, oh, man, that would have been nice for Claude Giroux to get a goal and an assist on his birthday. Very close to achieving that.
It was, it was great for me, too, because I was riding on the Claude Giroux point. So you were worried about the goal. I was worried about the point, and Claude Giroux came through, which extends his matinee point totals of the year. 10 points in 10 games, by the way, in matinees, and 8 points in 8 games on his birthday, as TSN noted there as well. Great game here, and we've got Sen Central standouts next. But let me tell you, the Postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. You can check them out at 779 Bank Street, and make sure you let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. The vibes are free at the GCP. I told you yesterday, and I mean it. Sue's never met a gas pedal she doesn't love. She rips it to and from the rink, taking the back roads, and you're like, wait, why are we getting off the highway? Well, do you want to sit in the parking lot on the Queensway, or do you want to get to the game? Of course you want to get there by warm-ups, and because they leave an hour and 15 minutes before the game from 779 Bank Street, they get you there in plenty of time to see the game. They also pick you up right where they drop you off. It's so easy. Whenever we go to Sens games, we always use the Glebe Central Pub shuttle, and we got to plan our next trip because I'm itching to get back to the GCP. That's where the vibes are free. It's the GCP. Go check them out for great food, awesome drinks, and live music every Saturday night. Head to GlebeCentralPub.com, and you'll find all the great events they have going. And on Sens game days, head to the GCP, and you'll get 10% off your order. Pilsy, the GCP, the vibes are free.
Love the Glebe Central Pub. We also love our friends over at FanDuel, official sponsor of the Locked On Podcast Network. NFL playoffs are happening right now. They've been going on all weekend. Big upsets, game-winning drives. The NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. And right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets. Whether you win or lose, guys, the FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same-game parlays, and so much more. I know you guys were sick of me talking about that no-brainer bet, but it cashed, so everyone would have got $22 in money at FanDuel if you followed my advice. And go to FanDuel to check out all the boosts they have. 30% profit boost on Gronk anytime touchdown scores.
I hit a prop today, and it was actually a weekend-long prop. Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley to each have over 100 rushing yards. I got those odds at plus 312 and it nailed.
There you go. Yeah. And they do 30% live boost odds for every game this weekend. So if you're watching the game and you got a hunch, you know what way the tide's going to turn, get your bet in, and why not get a 30% profit boost only at FanDuel. So visit FanDuel.com to join today. Get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan. That is Brandon Piller. You can find our socials below in the description of the show and also on Twitter at Sen Central, where the vibes are all the way back. A struggle, 1-5-1 stretch, but now 2 wins in a row, one against a team that's now behind you because Pittsburgh lost to Tampa today. We can touch on that in tomorrow's Locked On Senators, but this game, to me, much more impressive. A way closer score, Pilsy. Do you agree with that statement? I don't know if it's a hot take, but I just felt like the way Dallas played, this wasn't like they folded. Like I felt like Pittsburgh, one, their goalies can't stop the puck.
Yes.
But two, once they got down early, they were done. Ottawa now gets a win when they allow the first goal of the game. That to me is a huge check mark. Two, they gritted out that win. That would have been a 2-goal win without the penalty at the end. I'm convinced of it.
Yep. Agreed.
And they put this was a playoff style game. The first period against Pittsburgh was a playoff style, but then it deteriorated into a debacle, as the great Ray Ferraro once said.
Yeah, you know what, Ross? Actually, I'm with you on this because the Dallas Stars are a much better team than the Pittsburgh Penguins, and you needed this win at home. You got to have the home wins for the good fans at the CTC, and I'm just so happy that the Ottawa Senators were able to get both wins this weekend. So I think this was a better win, Ross, when you look at it, because this really keeps them in the wild card race here. If they lost this one, the out-of-town scoreboard hasn't necessarily been as favorable for the Sens as it was maybe last week. So
there's a week period about a month ago where everybody was losing below Ottawa and above.
But so
everyone.
were the Sens
yeah.
that week. So they weren't getting the help anymore. And this is a point, Ross, where if you're the Ottawa Senators, I know we're 42 games in, a lot of hockey left, but you got to be looking at yourselves being like, we control our own destiny. Obviously, you want a little bit of help with the out-of-town scoreboards, especially you want Western teams to beat up on the East, obviously, but you got to win the games that you have the opportunity to win. They go down 1-0 to the Stars and they don't deflate. They're able to bounce back. And Ross, they were scoring goals in quick bang, bang fashion. Usually those momentum goals go against the Ottawa Senators. It's nice to see them work in the Sens' favor for once.
Right. And I mean, well, what you're talking about, the called back goal there?
Well, that one especially, but they score to start the second period. Like I mentioned, you're down 1-0 going into the second, and then you score goals 39 seconds apart to take the lead. Like that's the kind of momentum shifts you need to have, and you need to be able to build on, especially, Ross, when you're at home. Over 17,000 people at the game today. So if you can get the crowd into it by tying the game and getting them excited, and then taking the lead 39 seconds later, you're going to feel a boost of energy in that building. And, say what you want, but momentum swings, especially when crowds get involved. I truly believe it has an effect, and it seems like we saw it tonight.
We certainly did. Let's talk about that, because that's a TSN turning point in this game, though, where Ottawa gets a penalty on a hook on Miro Heiskanen. They call it a trip. And look, Heiskanen is one of the best skaters in the National Hockey League. He's one of the best defensemen, but he's also one of the best skilled skaters. If a stick hits him above the knee, he's not going to fall unless he helps the cause. So I'm putting the dive label on that play. So to me, the Stars were shining down on the Ottawa Senators on that play because it was a close call on the offside. Usually when you get that offside challenge, you're like, all right, it's coming back. But that was really close. So I mean, I think it was offside.
Yep.
But it was a close play. So I call that a bit of karma.
Well, and they had to look at two different players. Like you had to look down the whole blue line. There was two guys that were very close to being offside. And this is the kind of thing, Ross, where you're taking a chance here, because let's say they don't get that challenge. Well, sure, the goal negates the power play that they were on, but then the Dallas Stars get to go right back to the man advantage because you failed on that challenge. So it essentially creates an extra long power play, even though the Stars scored already. So that's the kind of risk you got to take. But unlike the way the Pittsburgh Penguins did it, Ross, it seemed like Travis Green was confident in this one, and he wasn't just doing it to do it, which is not a good strategy in my opinion. And they were saying on the broadcast, the Ottawa Senators, I forget the number, maybe you can help me or people in the chat can remind me, but the Sens have had a lot of success challenging goals. I'm not sure if that was just offsides or in general, but their success rate of getting goals overturned based on coaches' challenges has been very crucial for this team so far this season.
Did you see the smirk on Travis Green's face after the play was called back?
Yeah, just classic. Like, yep, knew that one.
Oh, I love it. That's great. And you could even say that in the third period they went down a little easy on, in the later in the period when Jason Robertson folded like a cheap tent when Tyler Clevin got him. Maybe Clevin's that strong. Who knows? But felt like that was pretty quick there. So look, we got a lot of questions in the chat about Levi Merilainen, and I just got to say, before we get into it in the next segment, I am so confident when Levi Merilainen is in goal for the Ottawa Senators. This guy plays the game so calm. Like, he's got that Linus Ullmark attribute, and there's lots, obviously, that Ullmark does. Hey, should we be talking about Linus Ullmark being worried about his job when he comes back?
I mean, hey, it's cost per saves. It's pretty efficient for Levi.
Hey, but no, Merilainen's awesome. We'll do that in the next segment, though. Before we get to it, though, let's do some Sen Central standouts, Pilsy. Martian stole the German, which would have been my number one. I thought Tim Stützle was dancing tonight. I mean, there was that one play it was the second period where he brought it in, and it was right after the 2 goals where he put it over on a little one-timer, and Norris was robbed on that play during a change. But it was like a sudden burst of speed, and all of a sudden he was past the defenseman, even though he came off the wall. He was dancing tonight. So love to see that. I thought Adam Gaudette had a good game too. Not my standout, but there was that one back check in particular where he just lifted the stick. And those are the little details that he's going to have to do to continue to stay in the lineup. So I thought Adam Gaudette overall had a great weekend, but I always toss it over to you, Pilsy. Be my guest. Your Sen Central standout tonight.
All right, well, I'm going to go with Josh Norris then. He scores that nice goal, bats it out of the air, knee-high from a Batherson sauce pass. And Ross, this is something that I've certainly glanced over, and maybe we have on the pod as well, because we always talk about if Josh Norris isn't scoring goals, what is he doing? He had 1 block tonight, not a big deal. How about 7 hits for Josh Norris tonight? And they showed it on the...
What did I say yesterday? I love when he's playing pissed off hockey.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's got to find other ways to get in the mix, and scoring goals and finding ways to get in the mix is good. And they showed it on the broadcast, Ross, but I was not aware of this. Josh Norris is second on the team in hits. Brady Tkachuk, before this game, the stats aren't updated here, but had 145. And Josh Norris is second with 112. The next person, this is surprising, is Tim Stützle with 70. But like that gap between Norris and Timmy, over 40 hits difference. Like, I did not expect Josh Norris to be the number 2 guy and to have that big of a jump over the number 3 guy. So I got to give it to Josh Norris. We've been hard on him lately. He's kind of been the guy that's been in trade rumors, especially when this team wasn't looking good. Everybody's clamoring, get rid of Josh Norris. That cap hits too much. He's not doing enough. Well, he's finding ways to get involved. And if he can continue to play physical like this, like Ross, this is a career high for him in hits. And we're on game 42. In a season, rather. So, like, I mean, obviously, a guy that's not healthy.
I'm sure 7's a career high in a game, too.
Probably, yeah. When he's not healthy that much.
LOSB stats department will be crunching those numbers.
But, yeah, Josh Norris, I think, we're hard on him when he's not around much. But
it's because we know the potential.
And that's the thing. And that's what I mentioned, Ross, when we talked about the Ridley Gregg contract, and that kind of segued into the idea of trading Josh Norris. For me, I think if he can stay healthy and reach his potential and have that other parts to his game, like being physical, and he's killing a lot more penalties than he used to, it might be more advantageous to keep him, because his trade value around the league probably isn't as high as Sens fans would hope. So that's a discussion for another time. But Josh Norris, my Sen Central standout, presented by the Glebe Central Pub.
And Senator makes a good point. He's great in the face-off dot tonight. Not just tonight. Him and Pinto are both great in the face-off dot tonight. But was he? I just spoke out of turn. No, Norris was not. Pinto is who I'm thinking of. Pinto went 75% in the dot and took a ton of them in this game. Not to spoil my Sen Central standout. We're not there yet. Norris went 33% tonight or 30 something. I'm busy looking up the stats.
I think he was talking about on the season.
Correct.
Yeah.
The stats department has already finished the work. That's how quick we work here.
They're amazing.
Manually went through all the game logs. Before tonight, Josh Norris had 5 hits in a game, 6 different times, never more. So 7 is a career high in hits for Josh Norris. And a perfect Sioux driving the bus with the GCP over to my Sen Central standout. Senators are now 43, 26, and 6 all time. When Stützle, Norris, and Pinto play in the same game, those are all 3 of our standouts tonight. I'm going with Shane Pinto as my standout. Not only was he elite in the face-off dot. Pilsy, usually when a guy's 75%, he's taking what? 6, 7, 8? Not a math guy. I don't know how 75% works and all that. Pilsy, you went 12 for 16 in the dot tonight.
Yeah.
Against an elite face-off team.
Seriously.
3 for 4 against Jamie Benn, 4 for 4 against Rupe Hintz. Those are and 1 for 1 against Matt Duchene. Forget about the fact that he also went very well against all the other guys. Those are the 3 veterans on that team. And we know veterans always get advantages in the face-off dot. So against Jamie Benn, Rupe Hintz, and Matt Duchene, Josh Norris went 8 for 9 in this game.
Yeah, that's incredible. And we knew he was a face-off guy, Ross, famously going perfect. What was it? 18 for 18? 19 for 19 in Nodak. But going from snapping back draws up against college kids and doing it up against guys that have thousands of face-offs under their belt, like Jamie Benn, I'm sure does, that's a whole different story. So kudos to Shane Pinto. And Ross, the chat is getting on us here. I think we can unanimously agree that Levi Merrilainen also is a Sen Central standout.
You think we're not snapping it back? Guys, I'm trying to get the bus in a row. We're making a convoy of picks here. And when we had Stützle and then Norris, I had to go Pinto first to get that stat in there. And Pinto's assist tonight, he stirred the drink on that entire play. Great drive to the net. And now when Shane Pinto records a point, like we're getting closer and closer to a full season. That's what I'm always going to track the stat, actually. But 47, 11, and 6 when he gets a point, like that's nutty. I believe it's 7-0-1 this year. Stats department is on it. Tick, 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 tick. When Shane Pinto gets a point this year, going into tonight, I know they lost the last game. That's what's making me say that. They were 7-1 going into tonight. It's another 8-1 this season when Shane Pinto gets a point. The loss came against Dallas, so a little redemption.
Yeah, okay.
Little redemption there. Shane Pinto, an enormous asset. And what do we keep saying? Pilsy preaching patience about Josh Norris, or Shane Pinto rather, when he was having that slump, 19 games without a goal. Shane Pinto's all the way back and just puts this entire forward group in perspective about what they can do. Okay, on 3. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Levi Merrilainen is your next Sen Central standout. I mean, what more do you want from this kid? Unfortunate that they get that second goal because it pushes his save percentage down to a putrid 923 on the night. Still fantastic, of course. I say tongue-in-cheek, but the two that beat him, one was called back, both on those bumper plays where it's like, make yourself big and hope. Like, those are elite players making those plays. The other one, no chance. Nicholas Matinpalo completely screening him on that play. And look, I'm not just blaming Matinpalo. Ostapchuk lost Hintz on the back check. Therefore, Matinpalo had a choice whether to let Hintz take it right to the net with full speed or leave the trailer wide open. And Hintz made a nice pass to that. Now, would I like Matinpalo to get out of the way and not block his goalie from seeing the puck? Of course. He thought he was the finished firewall for a minute. Leave it to Levy to get the job done. He made so many really compact, would be the one word I'd describe Levi Merrilainen, like really good with his rebound control. I'm starting to run out of adjectives to describe this guy already, man. He's got 4 wins this season. Yeah. 4 wins in 5 starts. I know he lost the other one against Edmonton when he came in relief, but this is a hell of a goalie we got here, but
And this was his first home game, Ross, in his career. And all the other games he's been up against are really, really well, even including this one. All the games he's played have been up against really good opponents. And he's just steady, calm, cool, and collected. We love the Finnish firewall.
Energize puts in a note. Did Levy look bigger in the black tarp? I got chirped in the comments saying there's no way Levy's 6'4". So I mentioned
I got him at 6'3" at Elite Prospects.
Yeah, remember? Well, they have him at 6'3" at Elite Prospects. I thought they had him at 6'2" on Elite Prospects and NHL.com at 6'3". Last I looked at Elite Prospects, they had him at 158 pounds as well. So I thought it was.
He's at 185 now.
Okay, good. They might have updated that today. They're like, hey, this guy's legit. We better update that. Because I was like 158 pounds. What the heck is going on here? Somebody that get that guy some Glebe Central Pub wings and nachos into his system. But stoic in the chat. It's another word they're using from Tails to describe Levi Merrilainen. And this gets, let's get to Anthony's question after, because that's a bigger discussion. And I think one more Sen Central standout. We kind of just shared that one.
Yeah, I got another one here. I'm going to go with Jake Sanderson, Ross.
Tell me why after, Pilsy.
Okay.
Tell me he's got rockets on his skate, and I know you got rocket money in your pocket. Ooh.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yes, this episode is also brought to you by Rocket Money. If you guys have extra subscriptions that you're paying for twice or you forgot about, but you're like, how do I keep track of all this? Rocket Money's got you. It's happened to me. It's happened to Ross. It happens to all of us. You forget to cancel after a free subscription, a 7-day trial, and you forget about it. It happens, but Rocket Money's there as your personal assistant. It helps you cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spendings, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Brings everything together in one place to make it easy. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. I love the subscription tracker. It helps me cancel subscriptions I forgot about or I'm paying for twice. So cancel your unwanted subscriptions. Reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. One more time for the people in the back, rocketmoney.com/lockedon.
Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller here, breaking down an enormous 3-2 win for the Ottawa Senators. Tomorrow on Locked On Senators, we'll have much more on Steve Staios' midseason availability. We'll look at the Ottawa Senators halfway through the season. Of course, one game more now that they've played against Dallas, 42 games into the season. But, Pilsy, I didn't mean to cut you off. Jake Sanderson, your Sen Central standout. Why?
All good, buddy. He now in the last 4 games has 3 assists in back-to-back games. So he's starting to heat up offensively, which is what we like. And Ross, I loved his assist tonight. He enters the zone with speed. Giroux gives it back to him.
Beautiful pass.
Yeah, great job by Giroux. And then he tries to send it out front, a heads-up play, because I think Timmy was open out front to start, but it gets blocked by a defender's stick, goes back to Sandy. In stride, he picks the puck up again, goes around the net, and head up, finds Timmy, and then Timmy buries it. Like, that's just like, for him to transition the puck up ice with speed, see that Giroux's there, and you got to know Giroux's going to hand it back to him because he doesn't lose any speed. Like normally you would pass it to Giroux and then stay at your point on the blue line there, but he knows Giroux's going to one-touch it back to him. So he keeps that momentum going. And then instead of just firing a low quality shot on net that Casey DeSmith's probably going to stop, he tries to send it out front. Great play by the Dallas Stars defender to get a stick on it. But instead of just wheeling around and trying to get back to your point, he sticks with that puck and then has the wherewithal to have his head up as he comes around the net. Instead of trying again a low percentage wraparound, he heads up, sees Timmy there, passes to him. Easy goal for Timmy. So that was a great play for me. And it's times like those, Ross, where I've mentioned it. There hasn't been as many times this year where we look at Jake Sanderson. We're like, oh, the skating's so good. Everything he does is so good, like we were in years past. But that was one of them where I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot Jake Sanderson is an incredible skater with incredible hockey IQ.
And in analytic form tonight, you can see he is by far the number one player on the Ottawa Senators. My guess is Artem Zub wouldn't have had any defensive liability until that penalty at the end. That pair is all the way back. Just looking at our standouts there right in the middle, Timmy should be way higher. He was just dancing out there. Absolutely love to see it. But I love your call on Jake Sanderson too. And for all his struggles this year, when I put out on Twitter earlier today, the Sens projected stats for each player this year, he's on pace for 46 points going into tonight for the year. His career high is 38. That to me is great. I think one of my hot takes, was that he was getting 50.
I think so. We'll have to go back and check. But Ross, that's the thing. We knew that he was really going to start ramping things up offensively. Like his rookie season, I think the rest of the league that wasn't watching him as closely as us were like, okay, cool. Or when he signed his deal, especially, everyone's like, wow, the Sens just gave all that money to a guy that's going to get like 15, 20 points a year. And we were like, he's going to get going offensively. He's a rookie, or at least a young defenseman. Give him time and he's going to figure things out offensively. And we're starting to see that. Sure, you'd like the plus minus to be a little better, still worst on the team, which is crazy to say. But offensively, he's finding ways to get it done.
Yeah, basically since that 3-point night in Vancouver, was it even before that when he popped off in Vancouver? I guess it's been kind of hit and miss since, but yeah, over the last 11 games now, he has 8 points. So that's a much better look offensively for him. Let's wrap up the postcast discussing Levi Merriline. And Anthony writes in, has Levi earned the right to be the backup when Linus Ullmark returns? Pillsy, I'll start this conversation by saying the fact that Travis Green and the coaching staff was comfortable starting Levi Merriline in both halves of the back-to-back, I think that speaks almost as loud of volumes as the performances that Levi put on.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Anton Forsberg sitting on the bench for this one, you're kind of seeing the writing on the wall here. And Ross, funny enough, both of us, we talked about, I think it was it Friday's episode? We were like, you're not playing either of these goalies back to back, because Travis Green was talking about, hey, we got to get Forsy in a rhythm here with Ullmark out. And we didn't see this coming, but Levy's performance on Friday gave the momentum. Saturday, rather. Yep. Thank you. Gave the momentum and the belief that, okay, this guy's hot right now. You got to get him in while you can. Ride the hot hand. I'm not a big back-to-back nights for goalies guy, but I was like, I'm fine either way. I was stoked to see Levy get the start here, because I think with Anton Forsberg, you probably don't get this win. A 3-2 close win up against the Dallas Stars.
That was going to be my next question. Do you win this game with Anton Forsberg? I say probably not.
No,
especially in the first period, man. Yeah, exactly. Should we pull that up here for the people? Hey, Alfie, do you think you win this game with Anton Forsberg?
Probably not.
And I mean, he might have said that, Ross. He's a coach on this team, so he might have had input here.
Hey, if you're just listening to this, that was not today from Daniel Alfredson. I don't want to get anyone in trouble here.
I think people know his infamous, probably not quote, but good call. Just in case, we are professionals here on this show. We've never gotten anything wrong or misled people.
Never.
But yeah, this is, and look, I don't want to rain on people's parade, but Levy also has 8 NHL games under his belt. So while I'm excited about him and he looks great, let's not get too carried away here. But
look at the divide in save percentage: 913 versus 883.
Ross, I don't see a reason why he can't be the backup when Ullmark comes back. And if Forsberg had been playing better, I think you don't really have that discussion. But just the confidence level of this team when Levy's there versus Forsberg is just night and day over the sample size we've seen over when it's been Levy and Forsberg since Ullmark's been out and Mads was sent back down. And Mads needs to figure it out in the AHL before anything gets done with him. So he's going to stay there for the time being. But yeah, I think when Ullmark comes back, it's not that crazy to see the Ottawa Senators waive Anton Forsberg. Maybe a team takes a flyer on him, or maybe he tries to get his confidence back as well in Belleville. I don't know what's going to happen with Forsberg when Ullmark's back, but it seems like, Ross, and maybe we talked about how Levy starting back-to-back games impacts how the team feels about Forsberg. Do you think that impacts how close they think Ullmark is to coming back, because look, this is a team that doesn't usually put their goalies in back-to-back. I know Linus Ullmark started back-to-backs, but that wasn't the plan before. Forsberg was supposed to start and got hurt before warm-ups even, and so they had to go with Ullmark in that one. And you look at a jam-packed schedule coming ahead. If you were like, Levy's our guy, you've got a lot of games where you're going to want to play him here with a big schedule up against teams you really want to beat. The New York Islanders, especially one of them, a team that's already beaten you 4-2 with Forsberg starting and losing both those games. That's what I mean. Yeah. So,
no, he's the backup right now, and we'll see what happens when he comes back. But right now, he's the backup, and I mean, he might be the starter in terms of him and Forsberg. I'll be extremely interested to see who plays that game Tuesday on Long Island. That's more we can get into on the show on Tuesday when we preview the game against the Islanders. Tomorrow, we might have a special guest for you. We'll discuss, but we will also have a midway mark update with the Ottawa Senators. Huge win tonight, 3-2, the final score. Huge against the Dallas Stars. Enjoy waking up on a victory Monday. Holy smokes. This is exactly what the doctor ordered, with a tough back-to-back on the weekend. The schedule not getting any easier, though. The Ottawa Senators will be taking on a very, very hungry, and in a winning way, the Islanders are winning games right now. So we'll see how that works out. But good news, the Penguins lost. So you go 2-0 this weekend. Penguins go 0-2. That's chef's kiss. Senators first in wild card right now with points percentage. But you got to win those games. You got to win those games. And Senators asking, does Ullmark go to Four Nations if he's back before it? Those are conversations we'll have on Locked On Senators. For today, we say goodnight. What a game. We're recording bright and early tomorrow, so we'll have new content for you around 11 or noon tomorrow. Cannot wait for that. Enjoy the victory tonight. 3-2 the final score. Your goal scorers for the Ottawa Senators, Josh Norris, Tim Stützle, and a bit of a off the board. I'm like, Norris, Stützle, the two big guys. And, Matthew Highmore's first goal in 2 years. That's the game winner. So 3-2, the final score. Go Sens, go in the chat. Appreciate the hell out of every one of you guys. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators Postcast, your team every day.